Did you know that Oasys Reporter can link with your D3PLOT and THIS sessions to help you easily create reports with analysis results? Hello everyone and welcome back to another very special Oasys Top Tips. Today for the first time we're going to be looking at the latest release, Oasys 18, and to celebrate I'm also going to be showing you some top tips from Reporter, which I don't think I've actually shown you before, so hopefully we'll have more of them to come. Now, what I've got here is I've got a Honda Accord model open, and it's of a car crash test analysis here. And I'm going to show you how you can create reports very easily using the new reporter link. Now, the reporter link has actually been there since Oasys 17, but if you haven't used reporter in a while, then you might not be aware of some of these new features and tricks. So the first thing you need to do is you click on Reporter up the top here, and that opens up your linked session. Give it a second for it to open. So here what we have is some templates here, and it's a bit like if you were using PowerPoint. You have various options of portrait and landscape and different layouts, and this can be really useful if you're doing presentations to clients. And in fact, you can even create your own template, which I'll cover in another video. So look out for that. But for now, I'm just going to pick this one here, which is the executive 16 by 9 layout. I think that's quite a nice one, particularly when presenting on modern computers and using video services now. So what you're greeted with is a page which has these two white boxes, and these are special elements called placeholders. And as the name suggests, they're sort of holding the place of things that will eventually replace them. So they can be used for planning out a layout and deciding where you want things to be positioned. You can click on them and you can see up the right here, you have different coordinate information, the width and the height, and the X and Y positions. But these will ultimately be turned into Oasys objects, so either D3PLOT, THIS, or a primer object generally, and they'll be images from the model. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and show both screens side by side. That should be helpful for seeing how these two things are linked together. So first of all, you see there is a new reporter pane on the right hand side here, and what we have is an item tree. Now there's a master page, so every reporter template has a master page, and that's simply a page where you can put things that will occur on every page. So it can just save you having to copy and paste stuff, and it can be really useful if you want to sort of set up a layout of your slides that will be used for all of the rest of the pages. And then we have page 1. Now if I add another page using this plus button here, it's going to ask me another layout, so I'll just pick this one here. You can double click to open that. And then you see we have 2 pages now, and we also have P2, so the second page open. And I can go between them, or I can use the scroll wheel as well. Now what you'll notice is that this blue highlighted box actually moves with the changes that happen in Reporter. So this is what it is meant by the sessions being linked. And what I can also do is I can click on some of these things. So for example, I click on placeholder 1 and you can see that that's highlighted, and that was from D3plot. Or alternatively, I could actually do that from Reporter, click on placeholder 2, and it actually changes the placeholder here. And so whatever is active in this item tree is what is going to be overwritten or replaced. There's also this option which is add item, which is a sort of generic, and that just actually places something slap bang on the screen, and you can do whatever you want with it. So if you had a blank template, then you would only really see the add item, and then you can move things around later on. But for now, I'm going to use the new capture feature in the link session and show you how this works. So I'm going to find a view that I'm happy with. So maybe a side view here. Now, obviously, I would usually be in full screen mode here, but we'll have a side view. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate placeholder 1. You see it's highlighted. I have these 2 options here available to me. So if I click resize, what's going to happen is that view is going to change the aspect ratio of that box. And then I can click capture here, and it's going to create an image and place that into the template. Now, if I wanted to maybe change the shape of this image, say it's got a bit too much black around it and I want it to sort of be more prominent, I could actually resize that window. And what you'll notice is that the original aspect ratio, so that sort of square shape, is maintained, and we end up with these white padding bits on the side. Just a point to note, at any time if you want to see what it will actually look like when generated, you can click on this presentation view, and you'll see that those sort of white areas have disappeared, but we end up with a smaller square image. And what I really like is something that's rectangular. So what I can do there is I can click on here and edit, and then I can change to, so fit object box is what I want it to be on. So thankfully that was already there. And then if I reload the image and then click on resize, what it's going to do is it's going to read in the new size. And now I can maybe enlarge it by pressing A and then capture. And now we have that filling up the whole space. And then what I can do here is I can then come across the placeholder 2 and maybe click resize there to just get back to that square shape. And then I'll maybe have a bit of a top-down view and capture, and that's going to pop that there. And then I'm going to use this add item functionality here. And we haven't, maybe we want to have a sort of isometric view here. So I'm going to capture that, and that places it in the screen overlaying stuff. So then I can move that around and do what I want. But again, note that the size of that changes if I resize it. So I'll just place that somewhere where I'm happy and maybe give it a bit more width. And then I can reload that, resize it to the new size. Oh, I need to change the edit, and I need to make sure that I have on fit object box. So that's the size of this box here. So that's important to know. And then reload, resize, and then now you can see obviously some of it's a bit clipped. So maybe I'll change the view to look something like that, and then capture. And then you can see in the presentation mode, you've got your view, and this is what it looks like. And of course I could go and put something on a different page as well, and it's going to flip the page, and then I can just resize and auto center that and capture. So that's really useful, and the same functionality is actually available in THIS as well. So if I went to a graph here, I then could generate some data. So I would go to my THIS session and then maybe create some node data here. So just plot these X displacements. And then I can choose whichever I would like to keep. So maybe I'll blank out some of them and then size it as I want, or I can do whatever I would like to change. So I can maybe change this axis to say something like X displacement. And then in this case, I'm going to pick that placeholder there, resize. It's always good to do that just so that you know what shape it's going to come out as, particularly if you've got placeholders. Then capture that, and then that fills that in. Now, if at any point I look at something, so I could come back to this page and I say, oh, I really want to change this here, and that's kind of annoying because I've moved the view. What you can actually do is you can go into the reporter session here, and if you've already clicked on the item, it will appear here. And there's this reload button. And so reload essentially loads up that image into your D3PLOT session. And you need to also remember to click resize because it uses the window size that was currently being used. We want to get rid of the ground here. And then maybe I want to also change the transparency of the car to be sort of 50% and go for that. And then also I could change the background. So I would go on to display and change my theme to light in this case. The other ways of doing that, but that's the way I tend to do it. Auto scale just to bring that up, and then capture. What's going to happen is it's actually overwriting that original image. So that's worth knowing. And at the moment you can't go back to that. It's sort of an undoable action. So just be careful with that. But generally, you should be fine working like this, and just be careful when you're using reload versus update. So update is essentially changing what's already there, whereas reload is bringing in what's already stored in the reporter session. And just behind the scenes, what it's actually doing is it's creating these command files. There is also the option of going to the old way of generating things, but I would recommend sticking with a new way. It's by far and away slicker and just much easier. And I hope you find this really useful to know, and it means that you're more likely to use Reporter, and there are lots of benefits with using Reporter, particularly when working on multiple model generations. So I hope you've enjoyed this top tip, and there will be certainly more of these coming. Just a point to note, if there's anything you are interested in having a tip about, any information you like, please always feel free to reach out to us. You can write comments in the video. Those will be noted and passed on to me, and we'd love to hear back from you and any feedback. But for now, wait for the next top tips.